Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 4 of Rewind with Ro. I am your host, Ro Carter, and this is my amazing co-host,
Rob Smith.
Hello, Rob. How are you, buddy?
I'm in the house.
Okay.
I'm good.
In the house. I love that.
Yeah.
How's your week going so far?
Week is going good. It's starting. It's ending. Well, it's a special week.
That's right. So hold on. It's someone's birthday tomorrow.
Ooh, that's right.
Black Film and Rewind with Ro want to give Rob a very special happy birthday. You got a t-shirt coming from Utah. I'll send it out there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And a special happy birthday to my sister whose birthday was yesterday. So
I still don't understand that. I don't condone having kids back to back like that. That's just rude.
Well, she was 9 years later.
I get it. People can do math. Shout out to your sister. Happy belated birthday to her as well.
Yes, her name is Rose, and she's my Rose.
Nice. Where does she live? Chicago or?
No, she's in North Carolina right now.
Oh, okay. Good time.
With her family.
Sunshine State. Yeah. Anyway, what'd you think about the Super Bowl, Rob? Before we get into the movie tonight, matter of fact, I don't even care about the Super Bowl. What'd you think about Riri and the halftime show? That's what everybody's talking about.
I was gonna say it was the Rihanna Bowl.
Yeah. She looked pregnant, she is pregnant. And then the show, tell me what you thought about the show, what you thought about the performance, her look. Was it good just to be all these outfit changes? No, just straight up, hey, this is gonna be me, we're gonna do our thing.
Listen, Rihanna can do no wrong. Like, all of these people out here trying to just find a reason to hate on this woman. First of all, we've been waiting 7 years for her to pop back up. I don't need her to have on a bikini and do upside down flips for me to enjoy her music. Like, I love her music. That she's Rihanna. Like, why are we even critiquing this woman? Because anybody in the comments critiquing this woman, I implore you to be pregnant, have just had a baby, get up on a world stage at like the Super Bowl and do anything. Get up there and tell a joke. Let's see anybody who's talking about Rihanna even try and tell one joke. And you can try and tell a pre-written joke, and I'm sure it's going to fall dead. This woman got up there and performed her ass off, and it was great. Thank you.
She was in the air, floating in the air, like 100 feet in the air. I'm like, listen, man, this ain't for. And the dancers, God bless them too. They're like, and they weren't locked in. They weren't harnessed in. They were literally like, let's go. And I'm like,
exactly.
How much you get paid for that? Because I ain't doing any of that.
Just saying.
It was a beautiful choreography. I kind of forgot about all her hits. It was like, oh, I know that song. I was like, oh, that's right. And then I was waiting for Jay to come out, and I was like, you can't have Kanye come out because that'll be catastrophe. So I was like, is Jay gonna come out? But I kind of love that she used the beats and didn't. It was just her performance, her show. So
I had that. I talked to someone else about that. I was like, normally we get excited to see who else they're going to bring out and like who the surprise performance is going to be. But you know what? I think everybody was just happy to see Rihanna. So, it was great.
So we loved it. Good. One thing down here at Rewind with Ro. So
check it out on this.
I picked a movie. We wanted something a little bit lighthearted going into this week. Way to end the month of Black History Month. And so we had a little fun here. I think we'll see what Rob thinks about the movie, but it's somebody I used to know on Prime Video right now. This is directed by Dave Franco. Yes. Sorry. Dave Franco, the brother. Forgive me.
He is just Dave Franco. He's not the brother. He's Dave Franco.
Sorry, Dave Franco.
Earned the stamp of his name being separated from his brother.
We all know him as his brother. Anyway. So Dave Franco, this is his second movie, and he co-writer with his wife, Alison Brie, who's also in the film. This movie takes place in two places, right? LA and then a small town where she grew up. Basically, the movie is about a workaholic TV producer who her name is Allie, faces a major professional setback in her career where she was doing reality shows and it was taking off, and then they canceled the show. So she doesn't know what to do. out of love, trying to find herself because she's given so much to her career. So she's like, oh, I'll go back home, hang out with my mom, which she never does in the movie, but that's another conversation. But just finding her roots and kind of see what she missed out on and going back home where she feels comfortable. And in doing so, she runs into one of her exes. And this is the person she thought, hey, if I didn't leave the town, maybe who knows what could have happened. And when she runs into him, now all these ideas kind of run in her head. And she finds out later that he's actually engaged. And the same week that she's there, he's actually getting married. So this leads into a great old rom-com of like, you know, The Best Man's Wedding, all those kind of movies, like what's going to happen, stuff like that. But I kind of love the spin on this. So, Rob, what did you think about the movie?
Oh, that's it. Okay, I thought you were gonna have a follow up to what.
No.
Okay, so I enjoyed the film. I really did, and I'm like, Dave Franco has like found a calling outside of acting. Like it was really well done. And at first, like midway through the film, I was like, I kind of hate everybody in this movie. Like I hate all of them because they're all like horrible people. But then like as they like peel the layers back, you start to realize there's more depth and there's more passion and love and all of the beautiful things that are needed to really be behind the awful things that these people are doing, to have them have any sort of redeeming characteristics about themselves. So I really enjoyed this approach at the I want to break up the wedding because for my selfish needs concept of rom-com, and it was done very well. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I know you want to I know you have a system and you probably want to dive into
Yeah, let's go into the film a little bit. So the cast here is really great, which I loved about the movie. It really helped kind of put you into the groove. At first, I was like, a black man in the woods. I was like, like he's adopted. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll take that. But otherwise, ain't no brother gonna be up in the woods. So it's not gonna happen. But Sean, her love interest, is played by Jay Ellis. We've seen him in Insecure, recently in Top Gun 2, Maverick. And so I love, one, shout out to his brother because he's really making that leap from TV to film, and he can go back and forth. And he's just, not only is a good looking brother, but he can act. And so that's the best of both worlds, right? But he's also down to earth. So he has that kindness in him, even when he's mad. I mean, that's maybe the only knock I have in him is like, even in Insecure, when he got angry, it wasn't like, I wanted to be like that next threshold of like, ugh. But his anger was like, why are you doing that? Why are you upset? But anyway, I still love that because it wasn't a violent. And I think if you had a violent man in this situation, the film doesn't kind of sit that way, even though there's moments where he could be angry and frustrated, and he is. But I think if you got too violent, then the movie takes on a different spin. So anyway, with that being said, there's also Cassidy, which is his fiance, played by Kirsten Clemens. She's a great, oh my God, great energy on screen. She is actually a musician, and in that she's deciding whether or not she wants to, give up her music and traveling with the band to settle down with Sean. And then there's Benny, who plays the friend. He was in Community. He's been around. He's a really good actor, played by Danny Pudi. He was a great kind of comic relief, in the film. So it was great to kind of have him kind of help out there. And then Jeremy, which was which is Sean's brother. He played by Haley Joel Osment. We haven't seen him since, it's been a while. Since The Sixth Sense as a kid. And I think he did the, what was that big show that was on HBO? Entourage. He actually did the movie Entourage when they actually did the movie. So he's a little bit bigger now than the young kid, but he's been through a lot in his life. So it's great to see him on screen and just being funny and charismatic. And we're seeing a different side of him than the younger actor as a kid that we saw who was so serious. And now you're seeing his comedic chops come out. And then Libby, I want to give one more shout out here. Libby's her mom, who is Allie's mom. She goes home to see. She was originally in Airplane, like back in the day. She was a huge actress in the 80s. She plays like Julie Haggerty. And she had some great moments for herself. They were so short, but I was like, oh man,
that's so good.
Yeah, your parents just do some crazy stuff when you go home and you're like, oh my God, you're so embarrassed. So anyway, with this cast, as you said earlier, Rob, that Cassidy is kind of worried about Allie showing up again because they know they had some history in the past. And she's like, well, can I trust her? But at the same time, she's like, hey, I got to trust Sean because I'm getting married to him. How can one moment with this girl ruin everything we've been working on, and kind of going from there? So you kind of see this playing back and forth, and Allie's like set to go like, no, I have nothing else going for me. And I'm one of those people, when I go in, I'm going 100. So we watch her in this movie kind of just try to destroy everything they had, and kind of realizing like, what am I doing in my life? What did you think about the cast?
Yeah, and I like this approach because I really do. I want to talk about each character individually, and because, like I said, it literally was about, I would say, 3/4 of the way through the film where I was like, okay, I don't hate everybody, because I think they did a great job, and kudos again to Dave Franco, because I think they did such a good job in telling the story. And I think they did such a good job of creating all of these uniquely different characters. And also building up to the point where you were like, I don't like any of them. And then really getting a chance to find out that they all had like wonderful redeeming qualities. So Allie specifically, in the beginning, of course, she's going to be the villain because she's the person trying to break up their marriage for her own selfish reasons. Because, oh, he's the love of my life. I let him go once. And here's my opportunity 2 days before their wedding to destroy everything he's built after I left him. And she was also kind of vicious to her mom. And her mom was like this free spirit who was such a good comic relief throughout the film. So there was already this built-in kind of frustration with her because I was like, oh, you're an awful person. But you start to really see beyond that when you realize like there's a lot of passion that she had for herself and for her career and for her drive to be independent and not give up what she wanted to, the dream she saw for herself, to stay in this small town and fall in love with this beautiful man who was everything she wanted, but everything she wanted other than like her self-identity. So as you start to unpack that, I think there are some redeeming qualities to her, and then other things that happen throughout the course of the film, but like her strategic move to infiltrate her, like their marriage by befriending the fiance and like becoming an ear to the fiance, I thought was really clever. But then it kind of like turned on itself, and she realized that the fiance is actually a good person and doesn't deserve to have her life blown up because of her own selfish needs in the moment. So I really like the way they progressed and built the story of each character. So Allie, to me, I think Alison Brie did is that her name?
Yeah.
Alison Brie. I think she did a phenomenal job. I think everyone, the entire cast was great, but and also the nudity in the film.
Oh yeah, if you want to see Alison Brie and some other people butt ass naked, yeah, stay for the whole film.
Lots of penises, lots of breasts, lots of if that's your thing, yeah. But I thought it was all well done and it was all earned.
Yeah, it wasn't forced. It wasn't like we need this scene for this.
It wasn't like let's throw in some naked people and just have fun with it. It was all like earned, and it all made sense, and it all really helped the story to move forward. So I thought it was fun. I thought it was really fun, and I thought the entire cast was great. But specifically with her character, those are my thoughts.
Well, I want to add on to what you just said, especially her character and how big that is, right? And I don't think we talk about that enough. How young women sometimes feel they must choose between, a career and a relationship. And we saw that. Remember in The Best Man, Nia Long's character working so hard to the point she almost kills herself. Like when stressing herself out. And what's the point of that, right? And you see the same thing here with Allie's character. Just hey, I put everything in, and I never really took time to care about myself and like the love of my life. I maybe gave that up. And then also that question of timing, right? I think we've all been through it. Maybe I don't know, Rob. I'll speak for myself, but where you had the love of your life, you left, or she left, or he left, and then they come back into town, and it's like, oh my God. Your brain is like going in your head, like, oh my God, I remember all the moments we had. But actually, it never works out like the movie, right? When you sit down, it's like, you're catching up, but it's not all that, lovey-dovey stuff. But Sean's character, right? And I'm gonna bring this up and not ruin the movie, but Sean actually puts more energy into this than we give Allie credit for. So it's it's set up that Allie is the one who's trying to mess up everything, ruin the marriage. But Sean, we find out later, kind of does some things to put himself in a situation where Allie runs into him on purpose. And in doing so, the day, you know, it's not guaranteed the day is going to be great when you do that, but putting yourself in that situation, more things can happen than you're in control with. I was watching this with my girl, and I was like, well, I would have never been in that situation, baby. She was laughing, you know. She's like, would you? I was like, I would never put myself in that situation. And so it's a lot of times, you know, as we get older and we're going into this next stage or phase in our lives, we're like, oh my God, what about this? You know, what did I miss out on something? Like, what would have been if we did this? What could have been? What if? And so I love that question that we always, I think everybody asks, if you graduated high school or college and you left and moved out of your own town and you're in a different town, and then you always go home for like Thanksgiving or something like that, you always see somebody and they may be married now or whatever they're doing, or they may be a crackhead. You never know. But
not a crackhead.
Hey man, I've seen it. Staten Island. Some
Your ex was a crackhead?
No. Matter of fact, Rob, an ex in high school? Yes.
That's so sad.
Oh my God.
Let's get her some help.
I saw it. Oh no, she's past help. It's like she doesn't even look like a person anymore. Someone showed me a picture. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, thoughts and prayers. But again, it's just things happen in life. You never know where people are going to go. And so you're trying to pursue your career or whatever your endeavors in life and see what's out there. At the same time, you're giving up on somebody. And so now when you come back, I also feel like, is it your own like selfishness that you're like, oh, now I have time for you now because things opened up. Now I'm actually want to pursue this because you're free. And a lot of people get hurt. I think people do this more than everybody needs to see this movie because I think people do this more than they think they do, right? When it's available to them, they use people to kind of build them back up. And you kind of see Bree doing this because she's in a low right now, right? And she needs to feel like some form of love any way she can. And in doing so, she kind of almost ruins another, good thing.
Yeah, but back to Sean, because I know we were kind of transitioning to a conversation about Sean. My thing with Sean is this. He keeps finding himself in this situation, and they kind of, they unpack that later.
Yeah.
But how much is a problem? How much of the situations he finds himself in,
is it him?
Problem created by him? Yeah, because he continuously finds himself in a situation where people feel as if they have to suppress something inside of them or that they love and that they're passionate about.
And their dreams, yeah.
Be with him. Yeah. So, and he doesn't really see that. And I think that's problematic. And also, like you said, he plays with fire a lot. And he plays with fire and then goes, oh, I wasn't going to go there. But, I think he just wanted to have one last moment of validation in the fact that there was passion and love with this person who he deeply cared about, which brings up another conversation because I'm a person who believes that you can have multiple like loves of your life, and people are like, no, you only get one. But I think you can have that passion and love more than once. Like, I don't think there's just one person that is meant for you, and if you don't find them, too bad for you. Like, I do believe you can like find that like passion and love in multiple people. So I think he was like really going down a path of, am I losing the love of my life by marrying this other person and not valuing what was right in front of him? Because he did absolutely also feel the same way about Cassidy, but it just took him being in the circumstance to realize that he did feel that way. And also it took him realizing that he was problematic. Yeah. And that he's also the root of a lot of problems in the relationships he's had. And I think once he finds that clarity, it also opens him up to like love in a different way in his current circumstance. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Sean.
Well, let me ask you this. And I think with the casting, you didn't have to worry about it as much. But I think let's say if you had a more melanated black woman in the movie, would it be the white girl is trying to take my man? Or was this, no, serious. Listen, I sat there and watched. I was like, ooh, this could come on a different spin. But because she's bi, right? And she's going through her things, and all her girlfriends and just living the life free and big puffy hair and
she's biracial.
Yeah, doesn't shave her armpits. She's double bi.
Yeah.
Well, is that no, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. We don't have a black woman on here to actually talk. But if you're watching right now in the comments, but do you think that would play into it a little bit more?
Yeah, I think culturally there would have been a different response to some of the behaviors from Allie. Of course, I think if she caught the right one on the right day, it would have been a different situation. They might have been some hands thrown, but yeah, I think that was again, and this was what my issue was with Cassidy. She was also a person who likes to play with fire because she
Yeah,
wanted to taunt Allie and be like, let's see what happens if I put you in this situation. And of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
ultimately, Allie's going to perform well in those situations because that's what she does. So she like shot herself in the foot several times by trying to test the waters of pushing Allie to see like if she could embarrass her or put her in a situation that makes her look bad. And like, if that's how you really feel, just be like, kick rocks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if that was, if it was me and I felt like you were inappropriately infringing on my relationship, I'd be like, you got to go. And I don't care who mom or daddy asked you to be here. You got to go.
That's a great point, right? Because there's a moment where she asks Sean, she goes, "Hey, Sean, do you want her to be here or not?" And I'm like, "Bro, you better tell her to get out of here right now. This is your only option." But then the man, I know, being in relationships, you're damned if you do or damned if you don't, right? So if you tell her she can stay or you tell her she leaves, like, why'd you tell her to leave? So you are interested in her? I'm like, I can't win, right? I'm just telling you from a guy who's been in relationships. That's what happens when you say, you know what, I don't like her here, honey. Oh, why you don't like her here? Do you have feelings for her still? I'm like, I can't win. I can't win.
You're like, no matter what I say,
That's what
it's
I'm
gonna be
saying.
wrong. So
You
I'm
can't
just,
win. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, that's the narrative on, social media right now. So
Let me ask you, Rob, if you had a second chance, the one that got away, would you do it?
how interesting that you say that because Martha and I's film Next Lifetime that the crowdfunding is still available for us. So all of you out there, I don't know how many people are watching right now. If you're watching, you can go donate the Seed and Spark Next Lifetime. But anyway, that's the premise of our short film. And for me,
that was great.
for me, again, it goes back to this idea that I think love can find itself in many forms and in many different people, and you can have more than one just soulmate. Like I don't think there's one soulmate for you that's floating somewhere out in the ether, and you have to randomly run into them. Like they're in London right now, and you're here, and then by some magic you end up together. Like whatever, you can find soulmates in multiple people. From the way I see it. So would I entertain the idea of being with someone who I was previously with? It depends. I mean, if the relationship was toxic, probably not. But if it was just like a circumstance where it was like, hey, my career is taking me here, your career is taking you there, and there's no way we can make it work long distance. And then at some point in our lives, we come back together and have another opportunity to make it work. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if it was like, you're crazy and you used to bust out my car windows and now you've changed, no, I'm not going to go back to that.
You know what? The more I meet people, I think people love that toxic relationship, that kind of back and forth. There's a big percentage of people that just love that toxicity and just that craving to know that someone will just like almost kill you.
They're like, oh, I don't want to watch Blueface and Krishan, but here I am watching it every day. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, I never got that. I mean, I'm good. I don't need that. Like, I don't either. I love it. I don't need that crazy. I'm not gonna do the where are you? Where you been?
No, I don't want that. I had that once. I had it once. Like getting phone calls while I'm at work. What are you doing? I'm at work. Who are you trying to talk to while you're at work? I just gave a really weird voice to the person who was calling, whatever. But but I'm like, I'm at work. What do you expect me to be doing? I'm working. But yeah, I've been in one of those toxic relationships before, and I will avoid them at all costs.
There you go. So I think the biggest theme in this movie, at least for me, I'll say, it's timing, right? But also it's never too late to find your happiness. And then we see later that Allie's character finds her happiness. I'm not giving away like what she does, but she finds her happiness and gets back to like the reason why she wanted to be a producer, why she wanted to do this. And so what I love that kind of comes full circle. It's like everybody can have their happiness and you can support them in their own space, but you just need to find and be happy with yourself. And a lot of times we try to steal other people's happiness because we don't have it, right? And that's the only way we feel we can get it. But it's really that self-reflection that really opens your eyes to be like, oh man, there's things I got to work on and that I can make better. I don't know if we're privy to seeing it though as we get older because we're so clouded by all this other mess. So I think you have to be in a really right headspace or in a space where you can actually have time to think, and kind of process, oh, what am I doing? Where am I going? Who do I want to be? What do I want to be? What do I stand for? Right? What are my beliefs at the end of the day? And so I kind of love that at the end. And then you just see naked people all day. So there you go. Then just get naked. Find your happiness and get naked.
And get naked. I guess that's the moral to the story.
That's it. Anything you want to add?
No, I definitely recommend it. I think it's a fun, lighthearted, romantic comedy. Great performances, and I think Dave Franco has found a strength in writing and directing.
That's the brother of James Franco. He is Franco.
Dave Franco.
Remember his name, Dave Franco.
I love Dave Franco. I really, my favorite moment was when you remember Funny or Die.
Yeah.
He made this video on Funny or Die. Go watch it if you can. It's so inappropriate, but it's called Go F Yourself. And it is hilarious. And it's him, it's great. Just go watch it.
Thanks, Rob.
I don't want to give it away, but his girlfriend breaks up with him and tells him to go F himself. And, so the story goes from there, but it was so funny. And I fell in love with Dave Franco after that. And, he's done so much beyond that,
Yeah. He's a great actor. He got out of
hilarious. And
he got out of his brother's shadow. So he's doing his thing. Right there, buddy.
My dog is elderly and she slips and slides everywhere. So she just almost knocked everything over. So it would have been like, you'd have been looking at me from the floor. But anyway, yes, we're still saying.
Rob is having a GoFundMe for his film, also for rugs for his dog. So please contribute if you can. When is that film coming out?
Well, it's in process of being in the process of being sound designed, and we have composers working on original scoring for the film right now. So we put a lot of love and time and energy into this project. So our goal is to get it out into the festival circuit as of next month. We want to really start submitting it and getting it out there for y'all to see it.
That's it. Rob's making moves. We're all making moves here. We got a big announcement next week, though. We'll tell everybody next week on next week's show. Big announcement.
Oh yeah, big announcement.
Big announcement. Your boy.
Are we able to say anything next week? I don't know.
I'll just put an outfit on. I'm going somewhere. Going somewhere.
What are your final thoughts on Somebody I Used to Know, Ro?
I really liked the film. It was fun. It reminded me a lot. I'm from Staten Island, so growing up, being the only, one of the only brothers amongst my friends, and just people you used to hang out with or love interest you had. So I was all about that, minus the woods. But no, it was nice. It was a cute film. It was nice, just to chill and watch, at home. So I love those films that you don't have to waste all your money going seeing a rom-com, on in the movie theaters, you wasted $40. I would still have seen it, maybe, yeah. But on Prime, it was free. Good times. Free movies are great.
Not exactly free. Still paying that monthly bill.
Rob, how many movies you get a month?
Yeah, it is cheaper than the $40 to $60 you spend in the movie, and probably more for you because you have somebody to go with you. But
yeah, it's not cheap like you used to. The movie theaters are oh, I want to order too.
Well, that's what happens when you get plush seats and your legs flip up, and you can order drinks and food delivered to you, and you got a little tray. You remember
I can do that same thing at home. I can do that same thing at home, and I can have a high noon in my hand.
That's true.
Plug the high noon. Looking for sponsors. Anyway. All right. Last thing I'll say. What would you grade the film, Rob? I miss your grading, so I haven't heard one in a while.
Well, see, you want me to find something bad in these movies.
I never want you to find anything bad, Rob. I want you to give an honest grade of what you thought the movie was. Scale of 1 to 10.
If I have to give it a number on a scale, I'm trying to
get ready, people. Get ready.
I honestly, I'm so bad at It's a 10.
I'm about to say it. There you go. Yes.
And this is why, because it was a roller coaster of emotion for me where I was like, I don't like these people, and then I was like, actually love these people. I think the writing was very well written. I think Dave Franco did a phenomenal job directing. He did some, he tried a few little artsy camera moves. I think it was, even the nudity was well deserved. It was well earned. It made sense. The characters were all so diverse, and they all, the specificity of each character really helped to build a story. I'm serious. Like, even like Cassidy's character, just overall, because she was like this rock star who we find out is bisexual, and Jay Ellis didn't know she was bisexual, and her parents, she's estranged from her parents, and then we find out because they're crazy people. Like, there was a lot of complexity to each character, and seeing everybody questioning the situation. Like, Allie questioned it, then Sean questioned it, then Cassie questioned it, but then they all come to a consensus and understanding because everybody realizes the ugliness they bring to that they brought to the table, and they're able to resolve it and move forward in a way that is, good for the characters involved. I don't want to say what decisions were made. I don't want to say if they decided to get married, if they didn't, if he left for Allie, whatever. You'll find out when you watch the movie. But I think they did a great job of telling the story, and I think they did a great job of defining the characters in the story, and I think they did a good job of not like pandering to the idea that this person is great and this person is the villain, because every single person at the table brought their own baggage, which I thought was great. And I was going to say this earlier, like, and I always think about this. I'm like, if when you're writing these stories, if you're like, should the character do this? No, that would be something a horrible person would do. Then make them do it, like, because it really helps the story progress. But only do that if you have like, some kind of redeeming quality to the person. Because I think we talked about this before. I don't remember which film it was, where I was like, I hate all these people, and I could care less if they get what they wanted out of the film, because there was like nothing redeeming about them. But this film, I think, did a great job of avoiding that.
House Party. That was definitely House Party.
Yes, that was House Party. You're correct. I was like, he's a horrible person, and nothing he could do by the end of this movie makes me not feel like he's a horrible person, so I don't care about him. And that was really what I felt about.
Again, if you want to send your reviews, please send them to Rob Smith. He will give you the best review.
I don't just hand out 10s, but you do pick good movies, because I did not give House Party a 10.
That's true. That's true.
I did not.
But again, and last thing I'll say to piggyback on what you just said, I think the characters work because you can find, your stage in your life in each character, right? So the other side is, I'm the single person and I'm losing somebody that I used to care about, or the other way around. Now I'm gonna be married soon, and the person I used to care about is now over there, but now I'm moving on to this one. And so it's great to kind of live vicariously through these characters, because you get an idea like, oh wow, would I be that way, or would I act that way? And you get to see it in a film. So now you're like, oh, let me process this, because this is probably things I was thinking, but I didn't have something like in front of me to really see it for myself. And now I do. I'm like, okay, now I can really, and I love that there's brothers in this film too, right? So you can actually, now I feel a part of it, versus like those old rom-com movies was always like, Julia Roberts and this person and that, it wasn't like for us, even though we all go through life the same way, we didn't really see ourselves on that screen. So I kind of love that we kind of see ourselves on that screen, and we can adapt to that and kind of be like, yo, girl, not today.
Yeah.
That's
Are you gonna give it a score?
I'll give it an 8.
Why? Why does it lose 2 points? Why is it losing?
Because it's there's something, again, Sean's character, I wanted a little bit more from him in one of the scenes. And his anger, I felt like I just needed to be, that's me. I just needed a little, it's the same insecure character to me. I felt like
I hate to interrupt you.
No,
but I have to say, I meant to say this earlier. When you said like on Insecure, he was like always happy angry or like nice angry.
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job of because I thought he was so layered, his character. Again, I think all of the characters were very layered. He was very, very kind, but he also realized as the story progressed that he was also kind of a horrible person for the way he treated the women in his life. And then I think he also did have a moment where he like blew up a little bit, and I thought it was great, and I thought it was very lived in, and he was
I needed that blow up just to be one more level.
You wanted to punch a hole in the wall.
because then when he comes down later and he realized that, then that sells it even more to me.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
I'll let you take off a point for Jay Ellis, but I like Jay Ellis. I love Jay Ellis.
I love Jay Ellis. I'm a big fan. It's kind of
Jay
like
Ellis, he took off 2 points and blamed it on you.
I did not. I took off 1 point, even a half. and then there's just some things that I could go into, but there's layers. There's just layers that where I remember. I have my own theory. We don't have time for this, but dating people who are bisexual, I have my own feelings on that. Again, because
let's unpack this. We don't have time to unpack this.
I don't want to go deep in this. I just have my own feelings that because again, this is me maturing and going that's my own insecurities and I figured that out. But I had a thing about that, and so I saw that again on the screen. I was like, oh. Because again, his brain could go so many ways, which he didn't in the film, but it could have been like, oh my God, does she actually really like me? Or is she going to switch up and do this and go back and forth kind of all over the place? So again, my insecurities, I'm
not judging.
I know you judging, but I'm owning that. And I think that's what a lot of people have to do, that self-reflection of like, hey, you know what? Oh, wow. Yes, you can treat a relationship like a relationship, regardless if it's with either sex. And so that's another thing, me coming from a town or an area where you couldn't do certain things. And now I'm literally in freaking Utah, in the Mormon capital of the world. So trust me.
But you went from Miami to Utah.
Yeah, exactly. So again, opening my mind to different things and understanding that. So processing that, I did not minus a point for that. But I just didn't like the layers. Like I wish they could have gone into a little bit more about her parents and how that made her feel. Versus it was like 2 seconds. It
was 2 seconds.
So you have to unpack all that and how that makes her feel and her character. And you're like, oh, man, that's a lot of stuff, right? So that's all I'm saying.
Yep, and which is interesting because it was only 2 seconds, but it was very well.
Oh, it was a good 2 seconds. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, because we saw the difference in like perspective and energy between even the mother and the father. Because clearly the mom still wants a relationship with the daughter, and the father is the problem. He's like the core of all the problems because he's probably like a crazy.
And that might be the only casting problem that you had there. I didn't believe that they ever met in their lives together. That her parents, I was like, there's no way.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree. And I thought it was very good because I thought the father was very like aggressive and controlling. Even he was aggressive and controlling with the mom because the mom was probably I don't think she was okay with, the lifestyle her daughter has chosen, but she at least still wanted to open the door and have a relationship. And I gathered all of this in the 20 seconds they were on the screen. And the father was the catalyst to all the problems in that relationship with their daughter. And he was just like snarky and disrespectful and rude. And even like the mother, like trailing off to walk away with him, she felt, like she didn't have a voice in their relationship. And I think that was partly why the daughter was like, I don't want to be like that. And I don't want that energy around me. Like, I thought that was
great. I was picture the black mom being like, yeah, all right.
No, I think she was more submissive in that relationship, and it was to the detriment of her relationship with her daughter. Yeah. And even though, again, we're having a whole conversation about 20 seconds of this film, so I just think Dave Franco did a great job.
Going back to that, yes, Dave Franco.
I love Dave Franco.
And shout out to Alison Brie for the co-writing on this as well.
Yes.
So as usual, Rob gave it a 10. He highly recommends it. I recommend it as well. I gave it an 8. See it with a friend. See it with a loved one. See what somebody you used to know. See what I did there?
You like rhyming like Allie in the film,
Come on, that was a little better than that.
I think Allie was.
No, she was good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, come on, a little flavor. It's like she made the potato salad, but I put a little flavor into it.
Got it.
All right. Anyway, guys, have a good week. We'll see you next week. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a good night.
Peace.
Peace.